So we have another word problem here about decimals. Let us read this word problem together first. Pail A had 4 and 5 tenths liters of water. Pail B had 1 and 25 hundredths liters of water, less than Pail A. Some water was poured from Pail A to Pail B. In the end, Pail B had 4 times as much water as Pail A. How much water did Pail B, or Pail A rather, have in the end? So for this word problem, we have to visualize it by doing two separate models. One model would represent the before, and the other model would represent the after. I will be writing here the before model, and then in this part we will have the after. So let's start with the before first. For the before, we know that Pail A had 4 and 5 tenths liters of water. So let's just show that first using this yellow bar. And that is 4 and 5 tenths. 4, sorry, I don't have space. So 4 and 5 tenths liters of water. That is before. Alright. And then we also know that Pail B has less water than Pail A. So when we say less water than Pail A, we have to pick a bar or draw a bar that is shorter than that of Pail A. I will be picking this one first, the green bar. Okay, now that I have the green bar, I have to label the 1 and 25 hundredths liters less. Okay, now that we're done with the before model, we will now proceed to the after model. So after pouring some water from Pail A to Pail B, it says here that Pail B now had 4 times as much water as Pail A. So after pouring some water, Pail B now have more water than Pail A. So let us show that in this model. A and then B. So Pail A would have 1, and to show that there's 4 times more water in Pail B, I have to put here 4 bars of the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that would now show that Pail B had 4 times as much. And our problem is asking us how much water did Pail A have in the end, or in the after model. So our question mark would go over here. Okay, now we have these models, and I hope this helped you visualize the problem. Looking at the model, we have to know something first before we can actually proceed. Okay? But remember, in the problem, it did not say that some water was spilled. Meaning to say, the total in the before would be the same as the total in the after. Okay, but how do we get that total? Okay. So again, the total here would just be the same as the total here because no water was spilled. It remains the same. Now, to get the total for the before, because we have the details for the before, we can just get the number or the amount of water in Pail B at first and then get the total. So to get the number or to get the amount of water in Pail B at first, we can just simply subtract. Okay? So subtract first You want to know this. So subtract first 4 and 5 tenths minus 1 and 25 hundredths. And to do that, let's do subtraction of decimals. Once again, remember that we have to make sure that all place values are aligned. So I have to subtract 5 hundredths from 0 hundredths. So in that case, I have to get 1 tenth here. So this one will become 4, and then the 1 tenth there will now become 10 hundredths. So we can now subtract 10 hundredths minus 5 hundredths will give you 5 hundredths, and then 4 tenths minus 2 tenths is 2 tenths, and then 4 ones minus 1 ones is 3 ones. Now we know that pail B is 3 and 25 hundredths liters. With this, we can already get the total amount of water in both pail A and pail B. And to get that total, we have to add. So adding this together, that would be 3 and 25 hundredths liters of water in pail B plus 4 and 5 tenths liters of water in pail A to get the total. So add this both. Again, for you not to get confused, you can always put a 0 placeholder right there, and just to make sure that everything is aligned properly, meaning the place values are aligned properly. So 5 hundredths plus 0 hundredths is 5 hundredths, 2 tenths plus 5 tenths is 7 tenths, and then 3 ones plus 4 ones is 7 ones. Now that would be our total. So let me just put the total here, 7 and 75 liters. And just like what I said earlier, there was no water spilled. So the amount at first is the same as the amount in the end. Okay, so we can put 7 and 75 hundredths liters here in the end or after model. Okay, now let's focus on the after model. In the after model, we know that there is 4 times as much water in pail B as in pail A. We can say now that the number of units here, the 5 units, is representing 7 and 75 liters. So what are those 5 units? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units is 7 and 75 liters. So let's just write it here. 5 units is 7 and 75 hundredths liters. Now I want to get 1 unit, and if I get that 1 unit, that would already be the answer. And to get 1 unit, I have to divide 7 and 75 hundredths liters by 5. Okay. So since I don't have space anymore here, you can just divide it first on your own. Okay, so 7 and 75 hundredths liters divided by 5. You may use long division for you to find out the answer. So the answer now is 1 and 55 hundredths. Okay, did you also get the same answer? So 1 and 55 hundredths liters. Now for our final answer, that would be, there is 1 and 55 hundredths liters of water in pail A in the end. Okay. You can always check the answer by by working backwards, and you can also think if this answer is reasonable enough and would satisfy the conditions given above. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something about problems with